Why isn't my old social media playbook working anymore? What should I actually create, and how much of it? Where should my time and budget actually go now? Welcome, and thank you for joining today's training session on the social media paradigm shift. Over the next 9 slides, we are going to walk through a fundamental change that is happening right now in how social media works, why the old playbook is no longer producing results, and what your organization needs to do differently in 2026 and beyond. This material is not theory. It reflects what the platforms themselves are rewarding, what the engagement data is showing, and what high-performing creators and brands are already doing. By the end of this session, you will leave with a clear operating principle you can apply to every post, every video, and every ad your team produces. Let's get started. Here is the core thesis of everything we're going to cover today, and I want you to keep this sentence in mind as we go. Your social media and advertising must approach posts and videos for the questions they answer. For years, organizations have approached social media as a broadcast channel. You had a message, you pushed it out, and you hoped it reached people. That model is dying. The shift happening right now is that storytelling, combined with answering the specific questions your audience is already asking, is what social media rewards. If you take only one idea from this entire training, take this one. Every piece of content your organization publishes should answer a real question that a real person is actually asking, and it should answer that question through a story. We will spend the rest of this session breaking down what that looks like in practice. So how do you put the principle from the last slide into practice? You ask 2 questions before you create any piece of content. Question 1. What questions does this content answer? Notice the wording, not what message does this push, not what are we announcing. What questions does this answer? Your job is to identify a real, specific question that your audience is already typing into a search bar somewhere. A question they have at 3 in the morning. A question they would ask a friend over coffee. Question 2. What story can be told to answer it? You do not answer the question with a list of features or a brochure, you answer it with a story, the customer who solved this problem, the case study that demonstrates the principle. Train your team to ask these 2 questions before anything gets produced. Apply it to every post, every video, and every ad. If a piece of content cannot clearly answer both questions, it should not be published. Here is why the shift is happening. The algorithms themselves have changed how they decide what to show. For years, the metric that mattered was follower count. The bigger your audience, the more reach you got. That is no longer true. Today, the platforms operate what is called a passive snowball feed. The algorithm watches what viewers actually do in tiny moments and uses those micro behaviors to decide whether to push your content to more people. First, hover time. How long does a viewer pause on your post before scrolling past? Even a half-second pause is a signal. Second, completion rate. What % of viewers actually watch your video all the way through? The target you should aim for is greater than 50%. If half your viewers stay to the end, the algorithm starts pushing your content outward. Third, replays. Did the viewer loop the video back and watch it again? This is the strongest signal of all. Notice what is not on this list. Likes, comments, follower count. Those are lagging indicators. The platforms have moved on, and so should you. There is a second change happening alongside the algorithm shift, and it is just as important. Users have changed how they use these platforms. Increasingly, people open TikTok and Instagram the way they used to open Google. They are searching. They are looking for guidance, for practical wisdom, for professional advice, for answers to specific questions in their lives. This is a different skill set than what most traditional marketing teams are built for. It requires keyword research, trend analysis, knowing what is moving on the platform right now, and fast-paced video editing. Let me show you the data behind everything I have been saying. What are engagement rates across the 4 major platforms in 2026? TikTok sits at 3.7%. Instagram has dropped to under 0.5%. Facebook is at 0.15%. Year over year, the picture is even more stark. TikTok engagement is up 49%. Instagram is down 4%. Facebook is flat. X is down 20%. Take a moment to absorb this. If your organization is still allocating most of your social media time and budget to the platforms in decline, you are working harder for less return every day, less return every month, less return every quarter. This is the single clearest signal in the data. The volume standard has changed. To compete on TikTok and Instagram Reels in 2026, the working benchmark is 1 to 2 clips per day. That works out to roughly 7 to 14 pieces of short-form video content per week. I want to be honest with you about something. This volume is rarely achievable with a traditional internal marketing team alone. It requires either expanded internal capacity, an external content partner, creator collaborations, or some combination of those. Given everything you have just seen, the practical question becomes how to rethink your channel mix. Move away from static Instagram feed posts and Facebook organic broadcasting. None of these channels should disappear, but the proportion should drop. Let me leave you with the charge. Stop broadcasting. Start answering. If your team takes nothing else away from this training, take that. From this point forward, every clip you publish should answer a question your audience is already asking, and it should tell the story that delivers that answer. When you start applying this principle consistently, you will see hover time go up, completion rates will climb past 50%, replays will start happening. Begin applying the 2 questions framework to your very next piece of content today.